World Financial Group offers entrepreneurs from all backgrounds the opportunity to start their own business on a level playing field. Dr. Jana Woodhouse, receiving the WCM Wall Street Pioneer Award by the United Black Wall Street of America, Inc., is one of those entrepreneurs.
I see WFG and TFA as a place where African Americans with an entrepreneurial mindset can flourish. And the bonus, we help families and serve the communities across the country.
To learn more about us, go to worldfinancialgroup.com.
We are the sons and daughters of the soul. We are resilient and forever forward-thinking. We ask for nothing else than the opportunity to live and to create the lives that we were meant to live. We want nothing but an equal chance at options and possibilities. The same possibilities and options to live out our potential as our fellow man. We want to be heard, understood, and expressive in our reality. We are the future. We are the creative. We are here.
She was told that she couldn't play with the boys. She was told that they were too big, too rough, too strong. She was told to give up her dreams and move on. She was told to just be pretty, be quiet, be a lady. She was told that women had to stay on their side of the court, stay in your lane. Playing and competing with men was insane. She was told that men and women would never be equal. Dreaming like that would only be linked to your mind, to your soul. She never listened. She knew that their thinking was old. She was magic. She is the definition of spirit. She is what champions are made of. She is now.
Greetings and welcome to Access Wealth Nation with Dr. Jana B. Woodhouse. And of course, we're broadcast through Soul City Broadcasting Network. And of course, WHCR 90.3 FM, the voice of Harlem. And so I want to welcome you today. I'm really excited about our information. You know, it's so important to me to have the proper information. And the best thing is to always go to the source and get the information from the source. And so I've planned this session today, and probably there'll be a part 2 and maybe a part 3 also. But that being said, I want to open up again. If you have any questions, because today I think you really will have some questions, and we want to get our questions answered. So you can always put information into the comment section, and we will try our best to get to everyone. Also, I know those of you who would like to get the How Money Works, Stop Being a Sucker book that's written by 2 of my partners, Tom Matthews and Steve Siebold. Definitely, you send that information. Of course, I need your address because it's a physical book, but send that to us at Anaj Enterprises Inc. at gmail.com, and we will make sure that the books get to you. Thank God the mailing has started to move a bit, so you all should be seeing some of your books come through. And definitely remember to read your book. Okay. And thank you. Someone's saying they love the logo. Okay. And also, we have a special event that is going to take place, and I'm hoping I have the info. I had it right here. Okay, so we're having another special event. I had the honor of speaking this past Tuesday to a group of individuals we called doing our How Money Works Essentials. You know, the thing is that I do believe that people would do better if they knew better. But again, financial literacy is not taught in our school system. Especially here in New York. You would think it would be, since we are the financial capital of the world, but it's not. And so therefore it's up to us. You know, they say if it's to be, it's up to we. And so this coming Tuesday, We will be having another essentials class. It's the master class, and everybody should be able to get to it because it's on Zoom. And so you have the opportunity of asking questions there too, but it's a fun filled presentation to learn. And that's at, I think the producers have it, http hyphen, nope, semicolon, /bit.ly/essentials underscore June, not June, JUN, because it only needs the first three. So June 29th. And I'm sure we'll put that up as we go through the broadcast. But I invite you all to register and just put that you heard this on Access Wealth Nation. And you will definitely have a fun-filled Tuesday evening. It's at 7 p.m. And you can sit with your PJs and learn something. And that being said, if you don't have a plan, then you really plan to fail. And so it's very important that you get some type of plan. So here at Access Wealth Nation, we provide a free financial analysis for everyone, anybody who would like it. And my team is here to help. And all you have to do is call 646-375-2121, 646-375-2121. And say you would like to get a free financial analysis. They will provide you with the information that's needed. And then you put it together, you bring it to us, and then we crunch the information and then come out with some of the solutions. And there is no obligation. So remember that you have no obligation to do anything with us, but it's just the fact that you need to have a plan. And that being said, also, I'm still coming off my high from the Black Wall Street in Tulsa. And I say hello and greetings to that entire, my new family in Tulsa, Oklahoma. The Black Wall Street is rising and changes are being made day by day, but a lot of it comes to us to make sure that we're prepared and that we don't get money and just spend it. It has to circulate. The power of Black Wall Street in 1921 was, unfortunately, that's when it was bombed. But prior to that, the power behind it was that the money circulated in that community. And by circulating, I mean it did not leave the community. It went from store to store to store. And it took 3 to 5 years before that money would leave the community. That's building economic strength and also legacy. And so we've got to get into that mindset that we have to do something for ourselves and we have to become educated financially. And don't shy away. Don't be embarrassed because, you're like, oh gosh, I don't know anything. Guess what? 66% of Americans are financially illiterate. So therefore, you're not alone, but you can now pull away from the group and become financially literate. So that being said, there's a lot of things going on in our community, and some of them are get rich quick. There's all sorts of things going on, and a lot of things we don't understand. Then there's also a lot of programs that are offered to us through our jobs or through our businesses. And again, here we don't understand it. And so either we do it and we do it blindly because we don't know any better, or we don't do anything and we don't make our money work for us. So see, the thing is, we know how to make money. We work hard. Some people work 2 and 3 jobs, or they work 2 jobs and have a business, a side hustle, or what they call the gig economy on the side. And then, we do know how to spend it. $1.7 trillion left our community and went somewhere else. That's more than the country of Spain spends. So we do that too. So the next level is, do we know how to make our money work for us and find some of the loopholes and some of the things that can be done to help to build wealth and to build a legacy and create what we call generational wealth. You know what generational wealth means? That means that from generation to generation to generation, has the opportunity to build on it. So you have, you might have Matthew start off, Matthew Sr., and he builds some assets. And then what he does is that he passes it on to Matthew Jr. And Matthew Jr. should be able to take that asset and build upon it. So if Matthew Sr. has $10,000, Matthew Jr. should make that into $100,000. And then Matthew the second should be able to pull it up and build into billions. That's generational wealth. And so many other communities do that, and we don't in our urban community. So we're going to talk about some options and things that can be done about that. And that's going to be my focus as we enter into our heading towards our economic summit that I believe will be taking place in August. So I think I've covered everything that I needed to cover, because we need this time to really talk about some things. I know many of you have heard about cryptocurrency, virtual currency, Bitcoin. Have you ever asked the question, though, what is it? What's it all about? And then I know many especially our young people, have heard about the foreign exchange. And they're like, it's like, I'm going to trade, but do you really understand what it is? And so I have the fortunate graciousness to be able to have two individuals who I would consider, after speaking to them, they are specialists in that area, those areas, different areas. And so I would like to introduce and welcome to everyone two individuals. So the first individual, I met him shortly this week, and I understand that he's been working in the foreign exchange market for about 2 years, I believe. And so I was very much impressed with his knowledge. And so we're going to bring on Mr. Zachary McEddy. I hope I pronounced that last name right. If not, Edie? Edie?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Welcome.
Thank you.
And welcome to Access Wealth Nation.
Thank you. I'm definitely honored to be live with you.
Well, I'm honored to have you, because this is a question that has been in our community for quite some time. And so it's a concern, because many people, in my opinion, don't really understand what it's all about. So if you would be so kind just to take a few moments and explain to us what the foreign exchange market is.
Yeah, absolutely. So to keep it simple, right? What the foreign exchange market is, it's the largest financial market in the world. So the foreign exchange market actually generates about $6.6 trillion a day. Like every single day, $6.6 trillion are coming within that market every single day. So to put that into perspective, if you look at the New York Stock Exchange, they generate around maybe $22 billion per day, right? So just to put that into perspective on how large the financial market is, or the foreign exchange market is. So in essence, what this is, how you can participate in this market, you literally, all you need is the internet right now and your cell phone. Like you can have a laptop and your cell phone, and you can actually participate in the foreign exchange market. So basically what it is you're actually exchanging currency for currency, right? So how I like to explain this to people on a simple level is, if you've ever traveled outside of the country, you pretty much participated in the foreign exchange market just on a physical level. Or if you have a bank account, you've participated in the foreign exchange market, because this is what the banks put your money into as well. They trade on the largest financial market as well. So when you're traveling, whenever you go to, let's say you're in the United States, right? Let's say you go to Mexico. Right now, $1 is worth 20 pesos, Mexico dollars, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you go to Mexico with $1,000, you exchange it. You go to the airport, there's a currency exchange booth, and you exchange it for you will receive 20,000 Mexican pesos. You have a friend in Mexico with you that's from there. They say, you know what? I don't want you to spend any of your money over here. I have everything for you. You know what? Don't spend any of your money. So you have 20,000 pesos that you already exchanged, but you're not doing anything with it. So you spend, a week there. They're dining you, they're wining you, they're giving you everything that you need. Let's say you come back to the United States. However, what happened to the exchange rate? Right? The exchange rate went up. So you exchange those pesos again into United States dollars, and now instead of having $1,000, you might have $1,200 whenever you come back. So that's physically participating in it. But what most people are getting getting into now is actually profiting from it on the internet scale, right? From your cell phone, from your laptop, where you can literally press a button as long as you know what you're doing. But it's as simple as pressing a button, and you can literally make a profit whether the market goes up or whether the market goes down.
Okay, that makes sense. But is there really a major fluctuation that takes place in the currency market?
Yes and no. It just depends on the type of currency pair that you trade. So there are very volatile currency pairs like gold against the United States dollar, the Great British Pound against the United States dollar. Those are very volatile pairs that moves very fast, right? But then you also have currency pairs that don't move as fast, like the Japanese yen or the Australian dollar. Those are a little bit more slower moving currency pairs. So it just depends on which currency pair that you trade or invest in. But if you invest in one of the faster moving pairs, it all depends on, whenever the financial markets are open as well. So it just depends on which currency pair that you want to invest in or trade.
It's interesting you mentioned gold, which is really a commodity.
Right.
And so you're also trading commodities in addition to the currency.
Right. So in the foreign exchange market, you can trade commodities, you can trade indices, you can trade currencies in the foreign exchange market. So it's very diverse. It's 24/5. It's a 24/5 market, so 24 hours, 5 days a week. And when you factor in cryptocurrency, it's 24/7. So you can definitely trade multiple things, but just sticking with the currency pairs, like the country's currencies, is 24/5.
So I'm noticing a lot of young people, I started out in the financial service industry when I was 19 years old, really when I was 17. But to really own a business was when I was 19. And then when I went to Wall Street, I was in my early 20s. What is it about this foreign exchange? I watched many a times in my office suite that all these young folks, I don't see anybody else but matter of fact, I only see a lot of young folks, and they happen to be Black and brown folks.
Right.
And so my question to you, what is the romantic part about it? What is it that causes them to flock to it?
It really varies for individual, right? A lot of us, especially in the urban community, we haven't really been exposed to opportunities where we can literally learn how to make money in the digital era, or learn how to make money from our phone, or learn how to invest or trade, right? So I can only use things from my perspective. So when I had a demo account or a paper account, which is basically using fake money, right? You're practicing with fake money. Even when I was using fake money and I pressed a button based off of the knowledge that I gained, and I pressed a button and I saw that I made, $50 in a couple hours just by pressing a button. In my mind, I knew $50 can turn into 500 really quickly, or $50 can turn into 5,000 or 5 million very quickly once I'm consistent with learning the skill. So it's just about learning the skill that I think people gear towards or run towards, but also, a lot of people like quick money. So depends on how they hear about it. They might hear about it on social media and they say, oh, you can make money in minutes and all this other stuff. And that sounds cool, but a lot of these marketers and quote unquote gurus, they don't tell you can lose a lot of money as well. So, that's the romanticization part of it, that where people run towards it. It's the different way to make money where you don't actually have to physically work for money anymore. You can literally learn a skill, make money from your phone, make money from your laptop, make as much money as you could working a whole day at an office or working, physical labor. You know what I mean?
Well, also you do spend a lot of time though, and time is money. And
Right.
so in respects to it, it's still hard work and hard labor.
Oh,
It's
absolutely.
just going to fall into your lap. And also, like you said, it is risque. You have the profit and you have the loss possibilities, and they're extreme. I'm sure. The other part that I have a question to you for, people show and they always talk about the pros and the cons. So I would like to hear from you. I heard the pro. So what's the con to this?
So the cons to trading in the foreign exchange market, again, number one, you can lose money, right? You can lose money. Another con I would say, it's not for everybody, right? It's definitely not for everybody. One thing that I like to tell people is, again, people think that this is a get rich quick type of thing. Right? If you come into it thinking that you're going to be rich in the next month or the next 90 days, I'm not saying it's impossible. I've actually seen somebody make 6 figures in 90 days, but they put in a lot of work. Like that's all they did every single day for 90 days straight. However, your average person isn't going to do that.
There you go.
So that's another con. Another con to it is basically you gotta understand that 90% of traders are losing. 90 to 97% of traders are losing. So again, that's with every industry. There's only going to be a small percentage of people who really make the big bucks, who really are making that type of money. So you got to come into it not with a time perspective, thinking, oh, if I don't get rich in a year, if I don't get rich in 2 years, then or 3 months, then I'm going to quit. No, this is with every industry or every business that you get started. You got to treat it like a business. And most people, they don't treat it like a business. They treat it as a hobby, right? And they get hobby results. So those are just some cons that I believe in the foreign exchange market.
Okay. And then we were talking before and you said it's not just the trading that people are making money on. So if you could delve a little bit deeper into the, I would call it the selling of information.
Right. Right.
Yes.
So what I want to reiterate for a lot of people is the foreign exchange market, right? It's bigger. You don't have to join Forex. Okay. So the foreign exchange market is not a group, right? It's not a company. It's the largest financial market in the world. You don't have to join a company. You don't have to join a group in order to trade Forex, right? So, however, there are individuals, which is where a lot of people, especially on social media, where a lot of people are getting the information about what Forex is. There's companies out here that have been created that are actually selling information on how to trade in the foreign exchange market, right? So they're selling courses on how to do so. So it's the digital age. Everybody wants to know how to do everything online. So they said, you know what? We're going to show people how to trade Forex online. Do you need those courses? Not necessarily. I mean, but I haven't heard of a 6-figure trader that I've studied or 7-figure trader that I've studied that's making the money that a lot of people want to make that hasn't paid for mentorship or that hasn't paid for multiple courses. So these groups that are making a lot of money, quote unquote, there's also another side to it, which is the network marketing side. And the network marketing side, there's pros and cons to that. That's a business model as well, if you don't know what network marketing is. But there's pros and cons to that side as well, where, you basically, quote unquote, recruit or, have customers with the course that you're selling. And the more customers you bring in to, learn the course or whatever, the company that has the course, they're going to pay you for bringing customers into the company. Right. So a lot of what's going on a social media space, you have a lot of network marketing companies, having people promote their products and services. And you have a lot of young people, especially in the urban community, just going for the network marketing side. And a lot of them aren't even trading Forex. So that's what's giving Forex a bad name. If you're listening and you feel like, oh, Forex is a scam or it's a pyramid scheme, I want you to understand that Forex itself is not a scam. It's not a pyramid scheme. It's just the way that it's probably been presented to you. And you don't have to join a group. You don't have to sell. You don't have to recruit if you don't want to. But you do need the right information.
Well,
Right.
to get the information, I mean, realistically, we're in the information age. So you can learn by yourself, but it's always good to have a mentorship and
Absolutely.
understand. And again, I know I had asked you this question when it comes down to the foreign exchange, and then we're going to bring on my next guest. But to basically be a part of the foreign exchange market, you're purchasing currency, and then you're also not just, I know you had mentioned that people have a small amount of money and they're able to enter into it. But then that's when I asked you, are they buying it direct or are they buying on margin? And that was a question I had to you was, are they utilizing the margin on it, which means you're borrowing money to invest?
Right.
So is that occurring?
Yeah. So most people in the foreign exchange market, there is something called leverage trading or margin trading, where for every dollar, that you have, the depending on what type of broker you have, there are regulated brokers and there are unregulated brokers. So
Yes.
depending on what type of broker you have, depends on what type of leverage that they go towards. Every broker has leverage, but if you want to be a professional trader, I would always say, go towards a regulated broker. But if you're just trying to, flip a small account and everything like that, maybe get your feet wet, you can go to an unregulated broker. Just understand that you can't sue them, right? If something happens with your money, they're overseas, right? So you can't really do anything.
So that's on top of it, a bit more risque, but not, again, I would say, and thank you so much, Zachary. I think this was clear, and one gentleman had a question and you answered it before we even put it up. So thank you so much. And the thing is that I will place my disclaimer. It is not about, Access Wealth Nation is about information. We are not endorsing anything, but we thought that it'd be necessary to bring this information to you. Also, is the thing is that, you have to do your due diligence. And like you said, Zach, is that, we've got to, there's places that you can learn from and do, knowing about the margin is important, and what type of interest are you paying on the margin. And, those are the things that I think are important. And I think that even more so from my standpoint as being an investment advisor for so many years and an accountant, and also seeing some changes taking place in the tax laws where they're trying to capture stuff, is that you've got to be in a position right now to do your due diligence, feel comfortable, but put your money, get your plan together. You have the things that are what I call your safe money. And then, the monies that you build, because I'm seeing young people not take advantage of their safe money by making sure that they have their retirement plans together. Because when you're young, you can put a little bit of money away for your retirement. You got a long way to go. Right. And then when you get your insurances, your emergency monies, you have all this thing in place. Now, whatever you have left over, start looking at some of the things you can do with it, and that's what I think is missing when I'm listening to some of the folks, but I did not hear that from you. And I'm glad, that this is about building. And so thank you so much. Don't go away. I'm going to bring our next guest on, another young lady that truly impressed me also, and I'm very thankful to that. Oh, my stuff is falling. Give me 1 second. And she has another SKU of something that has come up in our industry as financial industry, and it's called cryptocurrency. And so I would love to welcome and bring on Monet Qualis. Hi.
Hello.
Monet, let me properly introduce you as the Crypto Duchess.
It's such a pleasure to speak with you, Dr. Jana. Hi, guys. My name is Monet, aka the Crypto Duchess.
Excellent. And so, Monet, thank you so much for coming on board to Access Wealth Nation and sharing your wisdom. And as we got a chance to chat a little bit yesterday, I would like you to take this moment and explain to folks, as well as you did with me, on the elements of cryptocurrency, virtual, whatever, what they're calling it, all sorts of things, Bitcoins, everybody just say Bitcoin, So tell us really about this market. I love the way you did that.
Okay, well, I gave you a little bit of the abbreviated version. So I'll try my best to explain this as clearly as possible to the viewers. So cryptocurrency is essentially a peer-to-peer payment system. It's a virtual currency, and it's secured by the blockchain or by cryptography. So essentially, crypto started back. Crypto has a very long-standing history. It actually started back in 1983 with David Sham and DigiGold. I'm sorry, DigiGold. The whole thing with that is it didn't work out the first time back in the 80s because it was a centralized electronic payment system. So it wasn't decentralized like Bitcoin. So let's flash forward to the early 2000s. Back in 2009, a person or a pseudonym popped up in the MIT space, Satoshi Nakamoto. This person basically wrote to a bunch of different cryptographers, on the MIT news forum, and he was looking for people that were interested in building a project for him, and he wanted to work with people to create Bitcoin, but they didn't know that it was Bitcoin yet. So he had he sent all of the specifications to everyone, and with that said, they built Bitcoin. They limited the amount of Bitcoins. There's only 21 million Bitcoins that will ever be mined in the world. And the last portion of Bitcoin will be mined in 2100 and I think 30, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh my goodness, that's a long time from you.
A long time from now. They actually slowed down the process by doing different mechanisms, like having doing halvings projects in order to slow down the process of the mining, because they wanted it to continue to go on. But essentially, that's how Bitcoin was created, through Satoshi Nakamoto. So there's a lot of legend behind him. They say that it's one gentleman. They say that it's a group of people. They say that it's a government that created cryptocurrency or Bitcoin. But to be completely honest with you, no one really knows how Bitcoin, or who is the Satoshi Nakamoto person. So from Bitcoin became a bunch of different cryptocurrencies came out, such as Litecoin, Purecoin was another one. So there was many cryptocurrencies that came out after Bitcoin, Ethereum. So yes, it's an ever expanding network, and it's really amazing to be a part of this. I actually found out about Bitcoin back in 2009, 2010, literally when it first came out. And I kind of went into it a little bit with you. I don't know if you wanted me to tell you that quick story.
Tell the story. I think people need to get a feel of what this really is from someone who is knee deep in it. And again, it's not the put all your eggs in one basket world. It's just knowing, and knowledge is power. Action is queen. So let's tell a little bit more about, what is it that attracted you to this? There's gazillions of investments out there. There's different ways to build wealth. And so in our community, as I'm understanding it, and I see it day to day, we jump to anything that's the fad. That's how I see it. We jump, if Joe the Elevator tells you that this is something you need to do, Joe the Elevator man knew something, he made some money on it, we go jump to it. And I think that in it, we have this misunderstanding. And when it doesn't work, similar to what Zachary just said, is that if you're invested in something and you're working with it, and if it doesn't work, what we do is we leave it. We say it doesn't work, instead of sticking with it to see how to make it work. So tell a little bit about what you want to share as far as what this is what makes this enticing, that this is a proper way to, as you and I have talked about, is building wealth and building wealth from generation to generation. So how does this help it?
Absolutely. So, just a quick background story and leading up to the answer to your question. So when I stumbled upon cryptocurrency, it was very, very early on in the process. Bitcoin was on the deep web, and I was a 20-something-year-old kid in college. I had my first apartment, and I was on the deep web surfing because that's the type of person I
Now,
would
can
always
you
have been.
tell people just a little bit, because I've got some baby boomers on. So can you tell them a little bit, what, just quickly describing what the deep web is?
The deep web was actually a gift from the US government, most specifically the military. They gifted it to the public. A lot of people, basically, the people that know about it, but that's because of the fact that a lot of folks who operate on the deep web are either this is the misconception, they're either criminals, they're either traffickers, they say all of this kind of stuff, but to be honest with you, the folks that have that were on the deep web like myself just wanted anonymity. That's the reason why I was
Great.
on the deep web.
Excellent.
Yes. So, and just leading up to to answer your question about wealth building. So I was, surfing the deep web. I wanted to find a book that is not sold in the United States. I'm not going to say which book it is, or can I?
You can,
The
definitely.
Anarchist Cookbook. I was
There we
looking
go.
for I was looking for the Anarchist Cookbook. They weren't selling it at the time, and I
No.
found it on the deep web, and I purchased it using Bitcoin. So I owned Bitcoin, and I saw that there were so many different ways to purchase different products with Bitcoin on the deep web. It wasn't necessarily on Google. Like, this is something
Right.
that you couldn't find on Google. So years later, I realized that Bitcoin was starting to gain traction. People were starting to learn about it, but not many people knew about it still. So I owned some. I made a couple of dollars off of it then. I sold it, made my money, purchased some wild stuff. I put it towards like a new car and stuff. Like, it was pretty awesome. The second time I got into Bitcoin was in 2012. That's when I think Bitcoin shot up to like, it went from like $200 to like 1,000 or something, and then it dropped all the way down, back like under $200. So I made more money doing that. I was just basically buying and selling it. I was happy, got in, got out. The second time around, the third time around, I started accumulating more. So I was being a little bit more strategic, dollar cost averaging little by little. In 2018, I made a tremendous amount of money. And I can tell you this, Jana, I was on Facebook telling people about crypto. People were like, Monet, this is a scam. This can't be real. I'm like, no, it's not. It's not a scam. And they're like, how did you even do this? I'm like, you're just buying and selling. It's unregulated. It's decentralized currency. It's not
And
tracked.
that's the question I had, just to interrupt a little bit, is that getting the making the money on this and being able, are you continuously buying in the Bitcoin or the cryptocurrency world, or can you transfer them into Federal Reserve notes if you so desire?
Absolutely. You can actually transfer it to whatever you choose to, honestly. They have exchanges now where there's one exchange, it depends on where you're located. Binance, you can transfer your cryptocurrency to actual stocks now. Like, you can
Okay.
transfer your money you could put your money into any, the euro, the dollar, whatever you so choose to.
So even with the discussion of foreign exchange, I don't want to leave him out, but even with that discussion, you can convert over and go to the foreign exchange part. Is that true?
Absolutely. It's easier, I'd say, to do it now than it was back when I started out, because there weren't a lot of exchanges that were allowing people to, you know, transfer their money back and forth. So it took a lot longer to get your money. You know, sometimes you would be, it was a little bit scary at the time because, you know, not you were going on these exchanges and you didn't know if somebody could hack you or anything of that sort, but there's so
Ah,
many different
good point.
mechanisms now.
So this now today's world, it has evolved a little bit more. You know, we had the discussion I told you about the fact of these wallets, which made me exceedingly. And then while I was talking, my husband told me, he said, "Yeah, you know, I got some of that too." And I was like, "Oh God, I don't know, I don't know what we got." But that being said, with it the way that people are, what would it be that people need to know to start to look at it? Now, you know, again, I gave the disclaimer. You do not put all your eggs in one basket. This is not a get rich quick situation, because get rich quick, lose quick. So in doing that, having the knowledge to put away what I call your safe money, to know that things your family is taken care of. Now we're going to go and we're going to play a little bit. We're going to get into something different, but make sure that you know what you're doing and be an educated investor. So that being said, with this wallet thing, what is a wallet?
A cryptocurrency wallet is, so they have two different kinds of wallets. They have online wallets, which are good for temporary, just temporarily keeping your coins or tokens in that wallet. And then they have offline or actual cold storage uh, wallets. I should have brought my ledger is in the room.
Oh, it's okay. We're
So
going to talk again. You know, I told you this is, I'm going to bring you back. A matter of fact,
okay.
I'm going to bring both of you back, you know, because I think that I'm just trying to wet people's whistle of what's going on so that they learn something, you know, and I'm hoping everybody out there, if you have questions, remember, you have the right to ask them, because, you know, we've got Zachary and we've got Monet here. And you know, take that opportunity. If you, okay, we got something there. What's that we got there,
My
sweet?
fiance actually brought it to me. This is the ledger, the nano ledger.
Mhm.
So I've actually had this for many years and I've held a lot of money on it. Let me tell you.
Okay.
This is where you basically want to hold your crypto on. This actually prevents you from getting hacked. You know, we were discussing that yesterday in terms of, you know, what
Mhm.
happens if I lose my password. This they have like a little feature on here where if you put in the wrong pin 3 times, you lock yourself out, and then there's a mechanism. There's something that you have to do where you have to go on your computer and enter in what's called basically like your seed phrases. So there's
Okay.
a variety of different phrases you have to enter to open this back up. So it is very, very much so hacker proof.
Okay.
I love this right here.
I see.
Like,
Okay. Well,
it's
that's
good.
good. So, Matt, can we bring back Zach too? I don't want to leave him out. You know, okay. We got a question for you. If crypto or blockchain is secure and transparent, how are so many and exchanges being hacked?
So it's it's the inevitable, honestly. There's a lot of exchanges and wallets that are currently, like, there's a lot of exchanges that are going through situations where hackers are going in and hacking the exchange. This is why I tell people, especially my mentees, because I teach a master class I have a master class that's coming out, and I've done some pilot exercises with a couple of my mentees that I've had privately. So this is why I always tell people, do not leave your coins on the exchange whatsoever. You know,
Mm.
I don't care if it's for a day or 2 days, because there are hackers out here that are, like, even back when I first started, they were taking down major exchanges and taking millions of dollars from people. So with that said, you're going to want to invest your money in a Ledger wallet. You can purchase it on Ledger. look up the term. This is what it is. It's Ledger Nano Wallet. You're going to want to go on the website itself, because they actually have hackers right now that are sending out the same type of wallet, right? But if you're not purchasing it from the actual website, then you could very well get hacked on, like if you're using something that's not coming from the direct.
That's what I'm seeing is that, and I guess this is because this is one of our associates too, who's, talking about what's going on with people getting hacked. We have moved into a world where we have no relationship with money. Okay. It's all virtual. So, and welcome back, Zach. I wanted you to jump in if you got something to say, because, it's one of those things where we're in a world right now that we have individuals who are born who have no clue of what a Federal Reserve note looks like. You say Federal Reserve note, they go, if you say, okay, it's a $20 bill. And as we all know, and if we don't know, some do, some don't, your Federal Reserve notes have absolutely
no value. It has no value. Your money has no value since the 1930s. Okay, people don't understand that gold and silver, they haven't backed anything since the 1930s. JFK tried to bring this back, okay?
Yes,
and it didn't happen. Like back in the day when I was a kid, I used to have a silver note, a JFK silver note, okay? They're not going to bring this stuff back. This is why cryptocurrency is the answer.
Mm-hmm. So
they're looking to bring.
Just a quick question with the cryptocurrency, and also we see the foreign exchange, because I mentioned to you that my experience of looking at it was more or less like from 60 Minutes, who talked about what was happening in Kenya and how they transferred money from Kenya to Tanzania because of so much trouble, theft. But then I look and I'm like, okay, but there's theft all over the place. Okay, you can do it from the stock market. I remember, we had Ivan Boesky and Milken. There was junk bonds. There was so much going on. Okay, not your keys, not your crypto. Okay.
Precisely.
Okay, you want to explain that? Somebody explain that to me.
Not your keys. So what that means is essentially if you do not have your private key, it is not your crypto. If you don't have that information, it's basically your private key is a chain of different numbers and letters, a combination. If you do not have that information, you've lost your crypto. This is why I have an actual book that I'm coming out with where people can log all of this information. It is always important to write this information out. Like back in the old school, we have to go back to the old ways. The old ways is really going to help for the future too. You can't have this stuff on your computer.
Write down things, where you write it down, where there's really pen and paper.
Exactly.
So is that, and I'm going to jump to Zach for a quick minute, when you deal with your the foreign exchange market, is it also, it's totally virtual for you? And I'm assuming, because you used an example that wasn't really virtual. It was really like if you go to a country, which I've done, I've traveled all over the world. And, sometimes I have exchanged money. That's why I happen to like my credit card better, because then I don't have to deal with all the exchange rates. But in that, I've seen where, I walk into a place, I'm in one country, like I remember I was in Egypt and I got twice the amount of money. And then when I had to change it back to Federal Reserve notes, it was depressing. And I lost, So is that the same for you as far as, is it physical or is it really just an exchange that is done virtually?
Yeah, so the Forex market nowadays is done strictly, in the digital space. So what you'll see a lot of people, especially like Instagram or Facebook stories, you'll see people showing off how much money they have in their account or whatever, right? Just to prove that they really trade. I guess that's a trend going on nowadays. But what a lot of people fail to do is they fail to cover up. There's a specific number that people can actually log into if they know what they're doing, and they can actually take your money out. Right? So they can actually have.
Wait a minute, somebody can take your money
If they know what they're doing. So hackers, like, there's a specific number. I can't really. There's an app called MetaTrader 4 that people trade on, right? And whenever you log into your broker, there's different brokers out here. So whenever you log into your broker in your live account, there's going to be a specific chain of numbers that basically says, hey, this is your ID. If they know your ID for whatever reason, if you have your information in your notes on your phone or whatever, let's say they get into your phone. You have all your information on your phone. They get into your phone. They can log, if they know what they're doing, they can log into your MetaTrader 4 and take your money out. Right. So
okay. So, but again, shoot, if you're walking around in the street with money in your wallet, and not your crypto wallet, your real wallet, and somebody walks by and yep, there you go.
Someone would have to pry this from my dead hands, my cold dead hands, my cold storage wallet with my cold dead hands. Okay, Ledger Nano.
Well, on both lines, because we're coming a little bit. Anybody have any questions? It's time to ask because we're coming close to the close. But I do want to invite you guys back. And we have a lot of things talking about building the economic summit. Because if you do know or don't know or would like to know, August is Black Business Month, and that's when we want to start to really highlight and show some of these businesses, because I truly believe that we as a people, just like in Black Wall Street, there was 600 businesses active in that little small area. Because when you think about 35 square blocks, it's not like a big mega place, but so powerful. And we have those just like Harlem, it's mega towns. And so, with that, the knowledge, like I said, I don't dispel anything. I want people to become educated. And if you're interested in learning more, I'm hoping that you guys have put your information up that people can, because I know, Monet, you're getting ready to do some classes, and I know you're formulating them. And we want to learn more about that. And there you go. There's an Instagram. That's the Crypto Duchess. I love it, Duchess. And also for the foreign exchange, we have Zach and Zachary, yes, put his info up. And y'all with this Instagram, Lord knows y'all sure don't want to talk to no old folks, do you?
I can put my Facebook down there as well.
Okay.
And
but
everyone,
got it. Go ahead.
Yeah, everyone can reach out to me on the website. There's a contact page on there if you want to email me. I'm going to be offering master classes on a monthly basis, as well as one-on-one coaching. And I will also be offering brand strategy for people that are looking to open businesses, but from a decentralized point of view. So I'm putting businesses onto the blockchain. Okay, so more to come with that.
Oh, that's really great. And definitely, I'd like you to come back and tell us about that, because all we know is the old brick and mortar. You go into a store, if I can feel it, see it, touch it. And this generation is not a feel it, touch it. It's a do it.
What if I told you that you don't own your data right now?
Oh, that I truly believe.
What if I told you?
I know that.
What if I told you that you can own your data with blockchain technology?
That would be something I'd be very interested in. That's definite, because again, the war for data, the collection, the idea, that's the power. When you're dealing with loans, your business, building assets, you got to have the data. It's just like when you do a business plan, you got to have the financials. I'm amazed when people do their business plan and they bring it to me and I'm like, well, this is really cute. Nice idea. Where's the money? How do you show how you're going to make the money? Because if you don't show that, nobody's interested in it. It's just like watching Shark Tank, which sometimes I I got a statement on that, but we'll talk again on that. But with the Shark Tank, people come and they're like, well, I sold 100,000, items. And then it's like, well, how much was the item? And they don't have the base cost. You listen to it. I stopped watching the show only because it was giving me a headache because I started yelling and screaming at it. What do you mean you don't know how much that cost? But those are the things. So yes, education is truly powerful. I think that if we can inform, it's just like I have invited many of people to talk about anything that they're doing that is positive in our community. And I think from the viewpoint of what both of you have brought, it has even sort of opened my eyes a little bit more, because what I had seen, just like you said, Zachary, I heard about, you got to recruit, and then you get a percentage of the recruit. And I was like, this is not a business. This is something that we finding people, and we basically are pimping folks.
Right.
So I was not, in a very good, and I would tell folks, look, I still tell people, get your secured money to the side so that you know that your family, because I'm one that I happen to have an affinity. I am so angry with all of these GoFundMe accounts when people die, or people are, fish fry. That was the one that tripped my brain out. I was like, wait a minute, you're going to have a fish fry to bury somebody. Come on, this is just getting colored. So I want to change that and that thought. But also I want people to feel comfortable if they're really making money, or even it's not a lot of money. Sometimes we look at it, and $1,000 a month can make a difference in somebody's life.
Absolutely.
It can change their world. It makes a difference between eating steak and chop meat. So that's what I'm looking at, is how do we take the baby steps to get to the level and not put all of our eggs in one basket. I see something you want to say, Monet.
Here's the thing that I always stress to people, and this is why I vet the people that I mentor. Cryptocurrency is not a get rich quick. I've lost a lot of money. I've gained a lot of money. I was even in the foreign exchange market for many years prior to, really truly getting into cryptocurrency. And I will tell you this, it is not a get rich quick scheme. It's not something that, you're supposed to just throw $10,000 at and just, and that's it. You have to really DYOR, do your own research. As Zachary was kind enough to say, you have to find mentorship from different sources, from different people that you resonate with. You have to follow the market. You have to do reading. And also, this is what I'm trying to really instill in people. I want to train people's brains to think 100 to 500 years from now. Stop thinking tomorrow or today. We have to think years from now, my grandchildren, my great grandchildren, and my legacy. Yes. I want people to build a legacy with cryptocurrency. This is the future. And I feel like as people of color, we have the opportunity to really make something of this if we're smart about it and we listen to one another. So.
Understood. And that's the thing, one of my questions, I know I'm taking a little bit more time, the producers should allow me. But I'm looking at, as an accountant, and I've noticed over the past few years that, especially the past 3-4 years, the IRS has had on their forms, first of all, they had, are you invested, or do you have any foreign product or income, dividends, anything coming from the foreign world? That's one. And you have to check off yes or no. Then they get, now for the past 3 years, they've been asking, first the question was, do you invest in cryptocurrency? Then came, do you buy, sell? Because it's just not do you invest, because that word invest is kind of broad. So then the next question is, do you buy, sell, trade, or have you at any point in the year? And it's yes or no. And this year it's again. So I have seen this before. Back in 1987, it was one of those things that was issued on bartering. We said, well, bartering, you don't get my social security number. You don't know if I want to trade with you, Monet, and then I want to trade and give the trade to Zach. That means that, how they know? They found out. And what they did was they imposed a tax on both sides. So what is your take with the way that the IRS comes in to play? And, they don't know how to track it right now. But again, there may be a way that they do.
So technically, and I'm just giving my honesty, this is what you're supposed to do.
Yes.
If you are using a centralized exchange, such as Coinbase or Gemini or Voyager, it would behoove you to report that information, because they have to report all of their information to the IRS, especially Coinbase, because they've went public as of April 2021. Yeah. So I would highly recommend that you do so. However, crypto is decentralized. If you're using a decentralized exchange such as Binance, then you have to follow the rules of the country that you're using that cryptocurrency exchange in. For example, if you're in China or Germany, there's other countries out there that do not regulate cryptocurrency whatsoever. And guess what? You don't have to pay taxes on it. Mm-hmm. Also, there are other ways, and we can get into this, during when we have our other discussion. There are other ways to protect your assets, such as putting your money into trust, and also having another address in another country that doesn't regulate cryptocurrency. And that is something that my fiance and I have been working on. So
you keep working on that, because stuff is happening. So you make sure.
Absolutely. Oh no, I'm very much so protected on that. And we do not use centralized exchanges. We use the decentralized exchanges.
Understood.
So that's the best way to mitigate the risk of getting caught up with the IRS.
Got you. And Zach, do you have any mechanisms or thoughts? How do they teach you to deal with taxation?
Taxation in the foreign exchange space, again, I'm 2 years in, so I'm still learning as well, right? But from what I've been taught is, as long as you're not withdrawing, I think, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but if you don't withdraw like $600, you don't have to report that on taxes. So as long as you're continuing to grow your account, as long as you don't withdraw any money from your foreign exchange account, you don't have to say anything about how much you made on, trading or anything like that. It's all about what you take out of that account, what you withdraw from that account. So,
well, it's really okay. I'll tell it this way, is that if you withdraw or have a profit of over 600, which comes on a 1099-B form, then the IRS will be looking for the entity to report it. Now, I stand as an accountant that if you do have less than 600, you as a wonderful, dutiful U.S. citizen are supposed to report it. Okay, but there's just no paperwork. But yes, you are supposed to, even if you receive an income under $600 on anything, you are to, as a dutiful U.S. citizen, supposed to claim it on your taxes. But it's just that it's not trackable. So that's how. Okay, what do you say? Do you recommend using a VPN?
Absolutely.
What's a VPN?
A virtual private.
And we don't know what this is.
It's okay. So VPN is a virtual private network. I'm actually on a VPN right now. I'm in Hong Kong, according to my VPN. It helps to protect, and I actually teach this during my master class. I always recommend that my mentees use a VPN for everything that they're doing, not just for cryptocurrency transactions, but for life transactions, because you are constantly being tracked by different entities, by different companies at that, with the cookies that we have to, you're always constantly accepting cookies when you're going onto a website and stuff. You definitely want to make sure that being the fact that you're constantly dealing with data transfer, use a VPN at all times, not just with crypto.
Understood. And then also Allison is asking, can you name a decentralized exchange?
So you're asking me to give all my cookies away.
No, don't give all your cookies. Just give a couple of them.
I'll just give you one. One that I really enjoy using is KuCoin. It's KU. I'll actually put it in the chat.
Okay.
Well, I can't put it in the chat, but it is KuCoin. KuCoin. It's a very easy to use exchange. When I teach my class, I will show everyone how to get on board, and they have a lot of different altcoins that you can purchase. Okay.
All right. There we go. We got
KuCoin.
Okay.
KuCoin.
Yeah. So this was very enlightening. I truly want to thank both of you from the bottom of my heart. I'm sure this was enlightening to many. I'll tell you, many of people, they don't always come on Access Wealth Nation while we're live, but they do. I mean, they watch, and I'm sure this one's going to go off the hook, because this is a topic, and most people are trying to sell people stuff. I appreciate so much for both of you coming on and giving your knowledge, your genius, and not trying to badger and sell. You want to get people to move. They will come and flock to you. That's the way that I operate. We do a free financial analysis. And a lot of people say, how do you do it free? Because we want you to know. Because once you know, you'll do better. But if you don't know, then you'll get all wrapped up in this world and lose out. So you have the website to make sure that you stay in touch with them. Matter of fact, if you reach out to Zachary or to Monet, please let them know that you heard about them on Access Wealth Nation. And so we're going to close out, but I will be in touch, and we will have some more sessions, and get more information out there to our community. So again, Monet and Zachary, thank you so much. And to the audience, I want to thank y'all for the time on watching Access Wealth Nation. See you again next Thursday. Get your checkup from the neck up.
She was told that she couldn't play with the boys. She was told that they were too big, too rough, too strong. She was told to give up her dreams and move on. She was told to just be pretty, be quiet, be a lady. She was told that women had to stay on their side of the court, stay in your lane. Playing and competing with men was insane. She was told that men and women would never be equal. Dreaming like that would only be linked to your mind, to your soul. She never listened. She knew that their thinking was old. She is magic. She is the definition of spirit. She is what champions are made of. She is now.